Hey friends, it's Sarah from Midwifery Garden, and in the last video I showed you the hot mess of everything when we first got back, and that was just yesterday. So today we're just going to see how much we can get taken care of, and the first thing we need to do early this morning is harvest some spinach. So I'm going to take you along for that. So we have a few different patches of spinach, and I'm just gonna kind of go through here and see how much of it I can actually access. One of the other things we need to do is kind of clean up this arugula area here and figure out which radishes we're gonna leave and which ones we're gonna take out. But for now, we're just gonna see how much of this spinach is still usable. And maybe weed a little along the way. But because of these radishes, the spinach got shaded, which honestly was like 85 degrees most of the time that we were gone. So that's fantastic. That's actually maybe the best thing that could have happened to the spinach, was it being shaded out by all of the rest of this. Even tell what's what anymore. Not spinach, so get that out of there. So we have this little patch of spinach right here, and then a bunch more on the other side, and there are theoretically some spinach plants in and among the radishes over there. So I'll take you in there in a second and see what we can find. I expected everything to have bolted. This does look like it's thinking about bolting, but again, it's really nice and shaded right now, so we're gonna see if maybe it'll last a little longer. So right now I'm just taking them one by one. A little hard to get you in here. These beds are really close together, but this is the patch of spinach that we're working on. So okay, so this is what spinach looks like when it's trying to bolt. The leaves just get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as it tries to make this flower head here. So any that look this bolty, I'm just gonna pull, and they're just gonna go in the compost bin. So that's how much we got just from that little spot. Let's go find our other spots. Okay, the spinach that was in with the radishes basically is just all bolted. So we're gonna come back to this little patch back here. Oh my gosh, so many weeds, friends. So these ones got giant for whatever reason, but also so many weeds. Hold on. So we are definitely gonna pull lots of weeds. This is impressive, the amount of weeds that got in here. But also, I'm gonna pick this huge spinach. And these don't even look close to bolting. I'll have to go back and look. May have been different varieties that I planted over here. And if so, this is beautiful. So I do like fresh spinach salads, and in a year where I had a better spinach harvest, that is one of my top 2 things to do with spinach. But this year, a lot of them didn't germinate well, which I know the problem. I had recomposted the bed, and the compost was too heavy. It was kind of clay-like, and so a lot of things did not germinate through that, except for weeds. So we can fix that for next year. Last year was great spinach year, and I use it in smoothies. I have a lot of smoothies, and I put spinach in my smoothies. I've tried putting kale in my smoothies because obviously kale and chard have a much longer season than spinach does, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't like them. You can taste them. They have a much stronger flavor than spinach. The spinach is really mild and has never bothered me, and it honestly just feels like strawberries and yogurt in my smoothies. So spinach is my preference, and I know that if I need to, I can get organic spinach somewhere else, but I had almost enough last year. I think I had enough last year frozen back to get me through February or March, which was really nice. And this is obviously not gonna do that. Not when I have smoothies multiple times a week. So, but every year's a little different. Some things do better some years. Last year, I got a ton of spinach and a ton of carrots. And this year, so far, not very many of those things have germinated, which is fine. We will take what we can. These are huge, friends. Do you see these? And the weeds back here are equally huge. Fun times. I can pile of those too. This is a little pepper plant back here. You can see it in and amongst the weeds and the spinach, but that's what's supposed to be growing here. So I figured the spinach would be mostly done by the time the pepper needed some more space. Looks like it's a carrot from last year, but it didn't really grow a carrot, so I don't think it needs to be in here. Take those out. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's another little pepper plant back there. All right, I do need to take out a couple of these radishes. Take out some of these radish plants so that we can make way for that pepper plant. That'll be enough. Don't worry, these radish plants will go to the compost. They will not be wasted. But just trying to make a little more room for these pepper plants back here that are trying their very darndest to grow. Some weeding done while we're in here. We did put down some straw. Sometimes the straw does send up a little bit of grass, but the grass that comes from the straw is really shallow, rooted, and super easy to remove. So I don't mind it so much. Tons of other weeds in here that are not so kind. Oh goodness, I still have a couple more spinach plants over here. Let's see if I can turn you. We got interrupted a little bit by a neighbor, but I just wanted to show you that's the spinach that we got. Got the spinach down a little. Got this area weeded out a little bit so that our pepper plants have a little bit of a better chance. I am gonna come through and do lots of things with those tomatoes, but that is not top priority. So we're gonna keep harvesting what needs to get out while it's still cool. Okay, we do let that soak in water, just agitate it every once in a while. With some ice in it just to keep it really nice and cold. And then you can put this drained in just Ziploc bags in the fridge and it will last for a couple of weeks, or you can blanch and freeze it. I will probably leave it mostly fresh for at least a little while. Okay, one of the other things that we had to get done this morning while it was still early is this cilantro. Let's see if we can get you down so that you can actually see that. Nope. Okay. So I really thought that this was all going to have bolted by the time I got back. You can see a little bit of it is trying to, but it actually looks pretty good. We are going to save this cute little dill plant for our caterpillar friends. We did have a chance to last night to go through the dill plants. We got a good 10 caterpillars, and we'll just keep looking every day. We'll probably get a ton more, but we are just going to go through and cut this cilantro down about as far down as we can get it. And we're going to do the cilantro and the mint right now and just put it in the fridge and get it cool. And then we'll come back through when we have time to get it prepped for the freeze dryer and see if we need to put, you know, if we need to harvest more stuff to fill up a freeze dryer. It'll probably be dill. And again, we'll just go through it real carefully and make sure it doesn't have any of our little caterpillar friends in it. But for now, the most important bit is just really getting this cut back before it gets too hot. And I do not expect another harvest off that, but you know what? Considering how much we already have dried from last year, I'd say 2 harvests off that little bucket is pretty good this year. All right, let's move over to the mint. When they say to put your mint in containers because it grows like weeds, this is what they meant. This was like one of these little stems, each plant when I put it in here, and that was 3 weeks ago. So this is insane. It's growing really well. It is in a container, so hopefully it won't pop up everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the same bucket as the cilantro because they're pretty easy to tell apart. If you wanna do a really good job harvesting your herbs, you're gonna cut at the base, I don't know if you can see this, at the base of 2 leaves. So you're gonna cut like right here, and that way this can branch here and here into new sets of leaves. So if you're gonna go through and really be particular about it and try to encourage more growth, so if you were doing like thyme or oregano and you're really trying to get amazing growth from that, you would do it that way. I'm actually probably gonna be fairly careful with this just because it's huge and beautiful and making it easy for me to do. Sometimes I'm not so careful. Sometimes I just do like what I did with the cilantro and just go through and kind of mow it down. And if it's a really vigorous plant, most of the time it doesn't mind that either. Actually do have some thyme and oregano. Neither of those plants looks crazy huge right now, but maybe we'll check them out if we do end up having room in the freeze dryer. Because those are the things I'm running out of in the kitchen. So obviously you can use this for other culinary purposes, but I'm just going to use it for tea. So we just dry it down and use it for teas. My husband actually really likes to use it fresh for teas in the summer. And you can, you know, do like an almost lemonade-y kind of thing with it, which is super refreshing in the summer. But like I said, most of it's just gonna get dried down for teas. There's just so much. So nice haircuts. And these guys, God, just weeds everywhere, friends. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna do for this morning. And if we do any other harvesting, I will definitely bring you along for that in this video. But for now, lots of cilantro, lots of mint, lots of spinach. It's been a good day so far. Okay, friends, we've done the spinach and the herbs and some ridiculous amount of weeding, and I'm getting kind of tired for the day. So I think the garlic scapes are going to be the last thing that we do today, and then I'll do more weeding and peaches and some other things on a different day. So what's a garlic scape? This is a garlic scape. Okay, there's two different main kinds of garlic. There's soft neck and hard neck. Soft neck garlic is the kind of garlic you see braided into pretty braids because it's soft in the center. Hard neck garlic will stay solid in the center. It grows better in cooler areas, so I'm in a zone 6A, 5B, and it grows better for me than a soft neck variety would. In the south, they usually grow the soft neck variety. The soft neck are supposed to last a little longer in storage. And the hard neck ones, you get two crops. You get the garlic, and then you get these things called scapes. Garlic scapes are the flowering bud of the garlic plant. So this would become the flower, and they have to be removed or the energy won't go into the bulbs to make bulbs. But you can do all kinds of things with these. They taste like garlic. I think they're a little bit of a milder flavor, but some people think they're just as strong. You can just eat them chopped up in things, which is actually something that I love to do, one of my favorite things to do. You can also grind them up and make them into garlic salt. Usually you grind it up, add a similar amount of salt, let it dry, and then you've got shelf-stable garlic salt. You can dehydrate them and make a garlic powder. It will be green. So lots of different things that you can do with garlic scapes. My favorite really is to just keep them in the fridge. They can last for a good solid month in the fridge, and just chop them up and use them as green garlic in whatever I feel like eating that month. So that's probably what I'm going to do with these. If I get to the point where a few weeks in we really haven't used up very many, I may put them in the freeze dryer and dry them. But that's what we're going to do, and that's going to be, I think, our last task of the day. I'm going to miss some because they look exactly like the rest of the plant, but we're gonna do our best. I'll show you what I get when we're done. I am an eighth of the way through the bed. I'm gonna go put these on the table. Okay. I promise I'll come back and pick up any ones that I just dropped, but that is the garlic scapes. This is why they say you get a second harvest of garlic when you grow long neck garlic. Hard neck garlic. All right, friends, thank you for coming along and doing some harvesting with me today. We still have a peach tree to tackle, lots of weeding, although I probably won't bring you along for that, and then lots of planting left to do. I'll see you next time.